Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Friday Night Smackdown review. And Smackdown tonight, of course, was from the PC, the Performance Center in Orlando. And tonight, we saw finally the debut of Matt Riddle on Smackdown tonight. And we saw the return of Bray Wyatt, which was cool. It's been, a while since Bray Wyatt has been on TV. The last time that we saw Bray Wyatt was at Money in the Bank. But overall, SmackDown tonight, outside of Matt Riddle and Bray Wyatt, this show was absolutely terrible as always. Show was absolute shit. But let's waste no time. Let's get right into the SmackDown review. So SmackDown opened up tonight with the AJ Styles Intercontinental Championship celebration. So we had Renee Young. She was in the ring. She introduced AJ Styles, and the Intercontinental Championship was on display in the middle of the ring. So AJ Styles ended up coming out. We had the roster lined up around the ring. We saw Daniel Bryan there, Drew Gulak, Heavy Machinery, saw Corbin. We had all of them lined up around the ring. So Styles came out, and Styles ended up saying that he loves having his name called out because this is SmackDown, the house that he built. And, it was good hearing that again from Styles. So Renee Young ended up asking what the Intercontinental Championship means to him. Styles ended up telling Renee that it means vindication. And he ended up saying that everything he ended up saying has been true. And Styles ended up going on to say that he is not going to be taking handouts. But, it's time to go on to what's next. Styles ended up saying that Renee isn't good enough, and that there's only one person to present the Intercontinental title to him. So he ends up pointing to the superstars that were surrounding the ring, that were lined up around the ring, and he finds Daniel Bryan. So Styles end up trying to talk Daniel Bryan into being the guy to come in and present the title to him and put the title around his waist. So Daniel Bryan ended up slowly stepping into the ring, and Styles ended up saying that all Daniel Bryan has to do is put the title around his waist, and that he will be thanked. Fans were chanting no, the NXT stars and future developments, behind the plexiglass, ended up chanting no. So Styles ended up telling them to have a little ended up telling Daniel Bryan to have a little respect and put the title around him. So Daniel Bryan was hesitating, and Styles ended up telling Daniel Bryan to prove he's a man, and that he doesn't have to do it if he's a coward. So Styles ended up telling Daniel Bryan to go. And, he starts to place the title. Daniel Bryan ended up telling Styles to be good. So Daniel Bryan ends up taking the Intercontinental title, puts the title on Styles, and sorry about that, but I was saying Daniel Bryan ended up putting the title around Styles, and Styles said to Daniel Bryan that he didn't think that was good enough, and that he wants it done like a man. So Daniel Bryan ended up taking the mic, ended up taunting Styles, and he ended up saying that last week was a good match. And he did underestimate Styles. And yes, it was a great match last week between Daniel Bryan and Styles, minus the 4 commercial breaks that we saw last week. But the match was a great match. It was, in my opinion, an instant classic. So Daniel Bryan ended up going on. He ended up trying to hype up Styles to be a fighting champion. And Styles ended up saying someone on his level will get an opportunity. And Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles ended up saying that Daniel Bryan is at the back of that list. So Daniel Bryan ended up saying to Styles, oh, why don't you give Drew Gulak a title shot, since Gulak recently pinned Styles. So Daniel Bryan ended up leading a yes chant, and Styles ended up saying that he isn't like Daniel Bryan anymore, and that he is no longer going to be giving out handouts. Styles ended up saying that you must be the #1 contender, and that's it. So then out came Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle makes his main roster debut on Smackdown. You know, cool to see Matt Riddle make his debut. I know there was stuff released earlier today because there's accusations on Matt Riddle, which, you know, throughout the day there were tons of accusations coming out on certain wrestlers, which, you know, don't want to get into because there is so much going on with certain wrestlers, like Wolfgang, I heard, Joey Ryan, like I said, Matt Riddle was another one that was being, you know, accusation, so among others. Jordan Devlin was another one. Jordan Devlin from NXT UK. So the NXT stars and future developments behind the plexiglass were chanting "Bro" as Matt Riddle came out. And Matt Riddle got on the mic and he ended up asking Styles, "What's up, bro?" So he introduced himself. And Styles ended up saying that he knows exactly who Matt Riddle is. And so he ends up, Styles ended up saying to Matt Riddle, cracking on Matt Riddle wearing those shoes. Oh, here we go. A sign that WWE might be possibly putting boots on Matt Riddle in the future. I give that about a month. So before we see Matt Riddle in boots. So Matt Riddle ended up saying that he isn't here to ask for anything, and that he's here to give Styles some info. And Styles ended up saying that he's the face that runs the place, and that Matt Riddle is here to be the bro that will run the show. So Styles ended up pushing Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle delivered some forearms. Both Styles and Riddle ended up brawling. Matt Riddle delivered a roundhouse kick to Styles. Styles ended up on the floor, pissed. And that was pretty much basically how the segment ended. But it was a decent opening to SmackDown. You know, really glad to see Matt Riddle finally make his SmackDown debut on the main roster. And I said it before with Matt Riddle, I give WWE 3 weeks until they're tired of Matt Riddle and he's reduced to catering. Or if they keep on using Matt Riddle, like I said, I give them, maybe a month until they put him in wrestling boots. Watch. I don't trust WWE with any superstar that come up from NXT because we have seen it before. We have seen NXT superstars get called up to the main roster and WWE fucks them up. So I have little to no hope on WWE doing Matt Riddle right. So then we had the first match, Matt Riddle versus AJ Styles, and this was a very good match. I really enjoyed this match from beginning to end. Matt Riddle started off as the bell rang. Matt Riddle just went and suplexed AJ Styles. He was mounting Styles with strikes. And it was just back and forth between Matt Riddle and Styles. There was a point in the match where Matt Riddle ended up dragging Styles out to the floor. And he ran into Corbin on the outside. Riddle and Corbin were then yelling at each other. And I'm like, oh, possibly when Riddle is done with Styles here, that's going to be the next for Riddle to take on Corbin. Yeah, we know the outcome of that. But then the end of the match, you had Matt Riddle winning the match because Styles was going for the phenomenal forearm. Matt Riddle ended up catching Styles in midair. And then Matt Riddle ended up dropping Styles with the Broderick. There you go. Matt Riddle wins the match on his first ever match on Smackdown on the main roster. So, and then post-match you had superstars like Daniel Bryan, Heavy Machinery. They all came in and they jumped into the ring to celebrate with Matt Riddle. And that was basically that. But very good match from Matt Riddle and AJ Styles. Really enjoyed this match from beginning to end. I was entertained. So this was a good debut for Matt Riddle. But like I said, I don't trust WWE with Matt Riddle as as they go along. I don't trust WWE with them with the NXT talents that come up to the main roster, because 90% chance WWE is going to fuck them over. So then we had Renee Young interviewing Jeff Hardy. So Renee Young ended up interviewing Jeff Hardy. Renee ended up asking how Jeff has been holding up. He ended up saying that life has been a roller coaster, emotionally and physically. He stated that he came back from an injury. He ended up saying that he's 42 years old and trying to turn his life around. He ended up saying that it feels like he's been trying to turn it around his whole adult life, despite the bad times. He ended up saying that life is amazing, despite those bad times. So Jeff Hardy ended up going on about his loss to Sheamus at Backlash, and also his family. He ended up saying that he had to stop himself before his cycle of thinking gets out of control. Jeff Hardy then admitted that he is a junkie, and that he's been an adrenaline junkie since 8. And he went on about Sheamus and saying how he overcame bigger obstacles. And Jeff Hardy declared that he is not done yet with Sheamus. And pretty much that was basically that. But decent interview with Jeff Hardy. Then Chad Gable was backstage. Caleb Braxton ended up coming up to him for an interview. And Chad Gable ended up mentioning, having eyes in the back of his head because Mojo Rawley was behind Chad Gable. He was mocking Chad Gable, with the height, with more height jokes. So Chad Gable ended up mentioning, I said, having eyes in the back of his head. He ends up turning around and punches Mojo. Mojo goes back. Chad Gable makes his way out to the ring, and Mojo was seen throwing a fit. And that was that. And then when Smackdown came back from the commercial, we had the match, Chad Gable versus Mojo Rawley. The match was garbage. Chad Gable ended up winning the match, getting the pin on Mojo. There you go. Moving on. We had Miz TV. Miz and the Morrison were out. They both ended up making excuses for their loss at Backlash to Braun Strowman. So they ended up bringing out their guest on Miz TV. And his guest was Mandy Rose. So Mandy Rose ended up making her way out. So both Miz and Morrison end up starting off by asking Mandy about her former friend, Sonya Deville. So they go on and joke around about that. Mandy was like, oh, I have no time for this. I'm going to leave. And she ended up saying that she didn't come out here to be disrespected. So Miz talked Mandy into stopping. Miz ended up telling Mandy that they have a surprise for her. And then who was the surprise? It was Sonya Deville. So Sonya made her way out. Sonya ended up marching to the ring. Mandy Rose ended up saying that she's done with this and she's done with Sonya. Sonya ended up saying that she wishes she could be done, but week after week, she's watched Mandy get the spotlight. And she wonders what she's done to get that. And Mandy Rose kept talking trash to Sonya. And Sonya ended up saying that she can hurt Mandy mentally and that she's still standing here. And she ended up saying that she can try to hurt her physically, despite what Sonya says about Otis. So Mandy Rose ended up asking Sonya what she has besides being a fighter, and that she's alone, and how long will she hold on to this petty stuff. And yes, Sonya is alone because it was reported in an article today that Dolph Ziggler is going to be going to Monday Night Raw. So because you had Dolph and Sonya together, now with Dolph going to Monday Night Raw, Sonya is by herself. So Sonya said she isn't mad at Mandy Rose anymore, and that she doesn't even care. And she ended up saying that she just wants to know what she has to get the Mandy Rose treatment, to get her treatment. So Sonya went on and said that she's superior to Mandy Rose in every single way. And Sonya ended up saying that she's done. And she will take apart the one thing that keeps Mandy going. And that she will destroy Mandy inside and outside. So Mandy Rose ended up attacking Sonya, and both of them started brawling. Miz and Morrison were watching on. Sonya ended up retreating to the floor. Miz and Morrison ended up stopping Mandy Rose from following. And Miz was just laughing at Mandy. And Mandy ends up slapping the Miz. And the reaction that The Miz had was hilarious. So Mandy got out of the ring, and that was basically that. But this whole thing was terrible. This whole Miz TV segment was fucking terrible. Although Sonya Deville delivered on the mic, she was decent on the mic here. But overall, the segment was terrible. And then we had the New Day versus the Lucha House Party. This was garbage. This was awful. We had Sasha and Bayley on commentary through this match. And you had the New Day win. Kofi ended up going to the top. And he assisted Big E. And Big E ended up hitting the big ending on Lince Dorado. And that was that. So the New Day ended up winning. Post-match, you had Cesaro and Nakamura coming to the ring. They ended up destroying Big E and Kofi. Cesaro ended up dropping Big E with the neutralizer. Cesaro ended up swinging Kofi and launched him right into Nakamura, hitting the Kinshasa. And that was that. And you had Cesaro and Nakamura go to the announce table to greet Sasha and Bayley. And Cesaro ends up yelling at Michael Cole about how he's been being sick and tired of how, he has been treated. 8 years, as what Cesaro ended up saying. So Cesaro was saying all that. Him and Nakamura were upset as they left. So, that was that. But, I agree with Cesaro here. I think Cesaro deserves better. I think WWE needs to start treating Cesaro better. The guy is talented. So, yeah. Give Cesaro a little bit more. Then we saw Alexa Bliss, Tamina, Dana Brooke, Naomi, and Lacey Evans in the back. They were talking about Sasha and Bayley. Lacey Evans ended up declaring herself trying to be Bayley's new challenger. And Dana Brooke says they all deserve the chance to knock some sense into Sasha and Bayley. So Bliss ended up stopping and asked, where Nikki was. And they all didn't know where Nikki was. Whatever. So then we had Sheamus being interviewed backstage. He was seeing how serious things are getting between him and Jeff Hardy. Sheamus ended up saying that he is a bully. And people like Jeff Hardy, need to be bullied. So Sheamus then announced that next week on Smackdown, he will be toasting Jeff Hardy. So we're going to begin that next week. It was announced earlier or later on in the night. So then we went back to commentary table. Sasha and Bayley were still there. And they ended up saying that they're excited for next week's party with Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. And then Nikki Cross ended up attacking Bayley from behind, or end up attacking Bayley, knocked Bayley off of the chair, the announce table chair, end up attacking Sasha, throwing Sasha on top of the announce table. Alexa Bliss ended up finally coming out to break it up. Nikki Cross ended up getting into the ring. She ended up screaming about wanting to fight with Sasha. And, Nikki Cross was ready to go. So Bayley ended up talking Sasha into having the match, which Sasha ended up getting into the ring. So we had the match, Sasha versus Nikki Cross. Quick match, back and forth between the both of them. Sasha ended up getting the win, ended up hitting the Meteora into a pin on Nikki Cross. There you go. Sasha ended up winning. But quick match. And so then it was announced by Michael Cole that Sheamus is going to be toasting Jeff Hardy next week, which Sheamus announced earlier. And then Styles will defend the Intercontinental Championship against Drew Gulak next week. So that's going to be a pretty decent match, hopefully. So we had those two things announced for SmackDown next week. So then after that, we saw the return of Bray Wyatt and the Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt has been off TV since Money in the Bank. He had another child with JoJo. That's the only reason why he was off of TV. So it was good. It's good that he had another child with JoJo. But Bray Wyatt ended up asking if we missed him. I missed seeing him on TV. And he ended up saying that he missed us. He ended up telling us some of the stuff that he's been doing. He ends up telling us that he learned TikTok. And he learned how to knit. So Ramblin' Rabbit ended up bringing up about Braun Strowman. We saw footage of the loss to Strowman at Money in the Bank. Bray Wyatt losing to Strowman at Money in the Bank. And Bray Wyatt ends up thanking Ramblin' Rabbit for reminding him of that. Bray Wyatt then ended up saying that he did lose to Strowman. And that he realized he went about this the wrong way. He ended up saying that he knows Braun Strowman for a long time. And then the segment got interrupted by Braun Strowman making his way out. Bray Wyatt then appeared on the screen. He was giving Strowman a thumbs down. So Strowman ended up in the ring. Bray Wyatt ended up watching from the screen. Strowman got on the mic, and he ended up saying that Bray had his chance with him, and he failed. And Strowman was like, no more games. He ended up saying that the story between the two of them is over. So Bray Wyatt ended up laughing, and he ended up saying that his story may be over, but he wasn't lying about resurrecting the dead. So we saw Bray Wyatt. He was deepening his voice, and he ended up saying that our story is just getting started. So we saw flashbacks of, vignettes of the Wyatt family, which that was cool to see. And then we see Bray Wyatt, dressed, in his old, buzzard gimmick, which that was a blast, seeing Bray Wyatt in his old school gimmick. So Bray Wyatt ended up saying that Strowman looks like as if he's seen a ghost. And I'm saying that to move forward, we must take a step back to where it all began. So Bray Wyatt ended up saying that he created Strowman, so it's his duty to destroy him. Bray Wyatt ended up saying that Strowman knows where to find him, and that all Strowman has to do is follow the buzzards. So Bray Wyatt starts laughing. He lifts up his lantern, just like the old days. He looks at Strowman, and he ends up yelling at Strowman to run. And then he blows out the lantern, and Smackdown went off the air. So, but really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed seeing old school Bray Wyatt come back with his old gimmick. with the whole follow the buzzards. But hopefully this doesn't mean that they're done with The Fiend. I don't want The Fiend to be done. But if they're just bringing this back for him and Strowman's continuation of this feud, that's good. Because I thought that once Bray Wyatt returned, Strowman was going to be going one-on-one with The Fiend. Apparently, that's what WWE is not going with. So, but really awesome to see, old school Bray Wyatt again. And that was Smackdown tonight. Overall, besides Matt Riddle making his debut, Bray Wyatt returning, everything else aside from all that, garbage. Terrible. So, anyways, that's it for the Smackdown review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. And definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And until the next video, I'll see you all later.